On the quiet evening of September 26, 2021, in Deep Kloof, one of South Africa's most prominent Forex traders, VMJ, sat behind the wheel of his Ford Mustang. His girlfriend was beside him, and the night ahead promised the usual laughter, luxury, and the kind of freedom only money can buy. But within seconds, everything changed. A brutal ambush shattered the moment. And in an instant, the millions he had earned, the empire he had built, and the dreams he had inspired came crashing down in a storm of fire. This isn't just the story of a man who rose from nothing. This is the story of a hit that silenced one of South Africa's loudest and most controversial success stories forever. Before the world knew him as VMJ, the flashy and confident Forex trader with a red Ferrari and a trail of followers, VMJ was just another guy in the crowd. But who exactly was he before all the fame? Where did he come from? What kind of childhood did he have? Strangely, no one really knows. His early life remains a complete mystery. Usually, when someone becomes famous, we can trace their journey. There are old photos, stories from school, and bits of information about their hometown and family. But in VMJ's case, all of that is missing. There are no public records or known interviews that talk about his childhood, no tales from childhood friends, no pictures of him as a schoolboy. It's as if he just appeared out of thin air, fully formed and already successful. Why is this part of his life hidden? There's no clear answer, but there are a few possible reasons. One idea is that he chose to keep his past private on purpose. Maybe he wanted people to know him only as VMJ, the man who built his success from scratch. By not sharing where he came from, he could control the story people believed. To his audience, he wasn't just another guy who made it. He was a self-made legend, someone who came out of nowhere and turned himself into something extraordinary. It made his story feel magical, like a modern fairy tale. Another possibility is that he was simply a private person. Maybe he wanted to protect his family from the spotlight. Fame can be intense. He might have felt that exposing too much about his loved ones would open them up to judgment, attention, or even danger. So instead, he kept them safely out of view, choosing to shine the spotlight only on himself. No matter the reason, this missing piece only adds to the mystery of who he truly was. All we know is that at some point, VMJ became VMJ. And that's when his story, at least the public one, really took off. He didn't become famous overnight. His rise was calculated, clever, and creative. He built a brand, a public image that was impossible to ignore. For thousands of young South Africans chasing a better future, he became a symbol of what was possible. At a time when many were growing tired of slow, traditional jobs, traditional paths to success, VMJ represented speed, freedom, and control. He wasn't just making money, he was making people believe that they could too. The world of Forex trading, with its promise of fast money made from a phone or a laptop, felt like a golden opportunity. And VMJ stepped onto this stage as its ultimate success story. He understood from the very beginning that to truly capture people's imagination, he needed to be much more than just a skilled trader. He had to become a larger-than-life figure. And he knew exactly how to get that message across. Social media was his stage, and he performed like a star. Instagram, in particular, became the place where he showed the world the life he had built. There were no behind-the-scenes struggles, just pure, shining success. Exotic cars, designer clothes, luxury getaways. His life looked like a dream, and he let people watch it all unfold in real time. But no symbol captured his success more than his expensive car collection. His followers watched as he cruised through the streets, the engine growling, the camera catching every sleek detail. It felt like being part of something bigger, like sitting in the passenger seat of someone else's dream and hoping one day you could drive it too. Every part of VMJ's appearance was designed with a purpose. He never stepped out looking ordinary. Instead, he wore the uniform of the ultra-rich, always covered in luxury brands like Gucci, Versace, and Louis Vuitton. On his wrist, diamond watches sparkled under the sunlight. Around his neck, thick gold chains glistened with every move. This wasn't just a love for expensive things, it was a strategy. Every flashy accessory was meant to prove a point. This is what success looks like. This is what Forex can do for you. But this lifestyle wasn't just for show. It was the engine behind his entire business empire. After showing his followers the dream, he offered them a way in. That way in was VMJ Forex, his personal brand and education company. It wasn't just a business, it felt like an invitation. The message was simple but powerful. You see the life I'm living, I can teach you how to get here too. Through VMJ Forex Education, he sold online courses, trading signals, and mentorship. But in reality, he was selling something far more powerful to his audience: hope. He wasn't just another wealthy trader. He came across like an older brother who had figured things out and was now reaching back to help the rest. He made people believe that success wasn't only possible, it was right there waiting if they just followed his lead. And that was what made the VMJ brand so magnetic. It wasn't just about Forex, it was about freedom, about escaping the struggle, about waking up in luxury and living life on your own terms. VMJ didn't just teach people how to trade, he made them believe they could become something bigger, something legendary. In the end, that's what his followers bought into. However, no matter how passionately Vumile VMJ was building his brand, no matter how brightly his star was rising, none of that could save him from what happened on the night of September 26, 2021. That Sunday evening in Diepkloof probably felt like any other. The weekend was winding down, and the familiar sounds of cars, music, and chatter filled the streets. But as the night wore on, everything changed. What should have been just another quiet end to the week turned into something far more tragic, something no one saw coming. Vumile was doing what he loved, cruising through the city in his Ford Mustang, the car that had become a signature part of his identity. To the world, that Mustang was more than a luxury vehicle. It was his calling card, the rolling proof of his success and the lifestyle he worked so hard to create. Beside him was a 21-year-old woman believed to be his girlfriend. The woman was identified as a police reservist, a volunteer auxiliary member of the SAPS. Together, they looked like the perfect image of young success, living fast, dressed sharp, and riding in the kind of car most people only dream of. Around 10 that night, the car came to a stop at a well-known intersection where Chris Hani and Clip Valley roads meet. It was a simple moment, just waiting for the traffic light to change. But that ordinary pause turned out to be a deadly setup. Without warning, a Toyota Ethos pulled in front of the Mustang, blocking its path. The move was sudden and calculated. Before either Vumile or his companion could understand what was happening, chaos erupted. Shots rang out, loud, sharp, and terrifying. Bullets tore through the car, smashing windows and punching through metal. The attack was fast, vicious, and left no chance to escape. In just a few moments, everything fell silent again. But the damage had been done. The attackers sped off, disappearing into the night just as quickly as they had come. And there at the intersection was the shattered car, its once gleaming body full of bullet holes. Inside, Vumile and his companion had both lost their lives. Just like that, the story of VMJ, the bold, confident trader who had inspired so many, was over. People who had been around the intersection rushed toward the scene, some shocked into stillness, others trying desperately to help. Some people tried to open the doors, calling out to see if there was any sign of life. Others took out their phones, dialing for help, their voices trembling as they spoke to emergency services. But it was already too late. By the time paramedics and police arrived, there was nothing more anyone could do. The two inside the car, Vumile and the young woman beside him, had died on the spot. The bullets had taken their lives almost instantly, leaving behind only grief, confusion, and a growing crowd of heartbroken witnesses. When the news of Vumile VMJ's brutal death broke out, it left more than just silence. It left confusion, heartbreak, and an endless stream of questions. In the place of facts, a thick fog of mystery quickly rolled in. To this day, the official investigation has remained largely quiet. No arrests have been publicly announced, no suspects named, and with the authorities offering little to no updates, people were left to fill in the blanks themselves. And fill them they did. A storm of rumors began to swirl. Stories built not on evidence but on emotion, fear, and speculation. Everyone wanted to know not just who pulled the trigger, but more importantly, why? Why would someone go to such violent lengths to take out a man who, to the public eye, seemed to be winning at life? The most powerful and persistent theory that captured the public imagination was that this wasn't just some random attack. It was a crime of passion, a love triangle gone terribly wrong. And the story that brought this idea to life came from a so-called leaked audio recording that quickly spread like wildfire online. It was the kind of thing that thrives on social media, mysterious, dramatic, and impossible to verify.
In this alleged recording, a man's voice could be heard discussing Vumile's romantic entanglements. The story that unfolded from it painted a chilling picture. Vumile had supposedly been involved with a young woman who had previously been in a serious relationship with someone else. According to this version of events, the man had been in a long-term relationship with the woman, possibly even financially supporting her or planning a future together. But then came VMJ. Charismatic, rich, and unapologetically flashy. He wasn't just any new man. He was someone who flaunted his success, drove a Mustang through the streets of Soweto, and shared every detail of his luxurious life online. And now, he was with her. To the ex-lover, this wasn't just betrayal, it was humiliation. And in some circles, humiliation doesn't go unanswered. In this theory, Vumile's death wasn't just about a broken heart, it was about a wounded ego, a deadly mix of jealousy and revenge. This story struck a chord with many. Maybe because it felt like something straight out of a movie, or maybe because it simply made sense. It offered a motive that matched the larger-than-life persona VMJ had built for himself. A dramatic life, a dramatic end. But that wasn't the only theory. Some people pointed the finger in a completely different direction, toward his own business, VMJ Forex Education. While many saw Vumile as a mentor and inspiration, others saw him as a scammer in disguise. His brand was built on dreams. He sold people the idea that they could escape poverty, that they too could drive luxury cars and wear designer clothes if they just followed his blueprint. But in the world of Forex trading, where wins are rare and losses are common, not everyone walks away happy. There were whispers that some clients had invested their life savings based on Vumile's promise of quick success, only to lose it all. Could one of those disillusioned students, fueled by rage and regret, have decided to take justice into their own hands? In a space where fortunes can vanish overnight, anger can quickly turn to blame, and blame, in the most extreme cases, can turn deadly. Over the past decade, South Africa has seen a dramatic rise in young, flashy online Forex traders who promise financial freedom through their proven strategies and mentorships. These traders don't just sell courses, they sell dreams. Dreams of escaping poverty, quitting your job, buying a BMW before 25, and living a soft life in Cape Town or Dubai. And VMJ was right at the heart of it. With his expensive Ford Mustang, designer clothes, and social media filled with motivational quotes and trading screenshots, VMJ wasn't just a trader, he was a brand. To many of his followers, he wasn't teaching Forex, he was showing them how to escape the system. They called him a brother, a king, even a savior. He had fans, not clients. In this alleged recording, a man's voice could be heard discussing Vumile's romantic entanglements. The story that unfolded from it painted a chilling picture. Vumile had supposedly been involved with a young woman who had previously been in a serious relationship with someone else. According to this version of events, the man had been in a long-term relationship with the woman, possibly even financially supporting her or planning a future together. But then came VMJ. Charismatic, rich, and unapologetically flashy. He wasn't just any new man. He was someone who flaunted his success, drove a Mustang through the streets of Soweto, and shared every detail of his luxurious life online. And now, he was with her. To the ex-lover, this wasn't just betrayal, it was humiliation. And in some circles, humiliation doesn't go unanswered. In this theory, Vumlay's death wasn't just about a broken heart, it was about a wounded ego, a deadly mix of jealousy and revenge. This story struck a chord with many. Maybe because it felt like something straight out of a movie, or maybe because it simply made sense. It offered a motive that matched the larger-than-life persona VMJ had built for himself. A dramatic life, a dramatic end. But that wasn't the only theory. Some people pointed the finger in a completely different direction, toward his own business, VMJ Forex Education. While many saw Vumlay as a mentor and inspiration, others saw him as a scammer in disguise. His brand was built on dreams. He sold people the idea that they could escape poverty, that they too could drive luxury cars and wear designer clothes if they just followed his blueprint. But in the world of Forex trading, where wins are rare and losses are common, not everyone walks away happy. There were whispers that some clients had invested their life savings based on Vumlay's promise of quick success, only to lose it all. Could one of those disillusioned students, fueled by rage and regret, have decided to take justice into their own hands? In a space where fortunes can vanish overnight, anger can quickly turn to blame, and blame, in the most extreme cases, can turn deadly. Over the past decade, South Africa has seen a dramatic rise in young, flashy online Forex traders who promise financial freedom through their proven strategies and mentorships. These traders don't just sell courses, they sell dreams. Dreams of escaping poverty, quitting your job, buying a BMW before 25, and living a soft life in Cape Town or Dubai. And VMJ was right at the heart of it. With his expensive Ford Mustang, designer clothes, and social media filled with motivational quotes and trading screenshots, VMJ wasn't just a trader, he was a brand. To many of his followers, he wasn't teaching Forex, he was showing them how to escape the system. They called him a brother, a king, even a savior. He had fans, not clients.
But behind the flash and filters, this Forex world was murkier than it seemed. Forex trading is legal, but the problem lies in who's doing the teaching. Many online Forex mentors have no verified trading records, no licenses, and offer no guarantees. Yet they charge 3,000 to 20,000 Rand for mentorship packages and signals. Some claim they can flip 1,000 Rand into 10,000 Rand in days, but conveniently go silent when followers lose money. VMJ, to his credit, had a massive following and reportedly did trade successfully. But his rise occurred during a time when the line between legitimate trader and online scammer was almost invisible. The South African Financial Sector Conduct Authority, FSCA, has regularly warned the public about fake Forex mentors and pyramid-style trading groups. Several arrests have been made in recent years, but most operate unchecked, hiding behind Instagram handles and Telegram groups. VMJ's followers weren't just clients, they were devoted. Many looked up to him more than they trusted banks or financial advisors. Some students allegedly handed him money to trade on their behalf, something that is often illegal without a proper license. And this is where the danger lies. When someone loses their life savings in what they believe is a legitimate Forex investment, and the mentor shrugs it off or disappears, anger builds. Some followers feel betrayed. Some seek revenge. That's why critics of VMJ and the entire Forex mentor movement believe that this wasn't just a random crime. It could have been the boiling point of a financial betrayal. Another theory that many have whispered about points directly at Vumlay's flamboyant lifestyle. He didn't just make money, he showed it off boldly and unapologetically. His luxury cars weren't just transportation, they were a moving billboard for his success. His designer clothes, luxury watches, and the constant stream of social media posts were a daily reminder of the wealth he had achieved. But in a country like South Africa, where economic inequality runs deep, that kind of display can be dangerous. To some, he was an inspiration. To others, he may have been a symbol of something they felt they could never reach, a walking reminder of their own struggles. It's possible that Vumile was killed not because of something he did, but simply because of who he was and what he represented. His success, worn so loudly and proudly, may have stirred up envy and resentment. In this version of the story, his killing was a targeted hit, not because of love, money, or business gone wrong, but because someone couldn't stand to see him shine. Then again, maybe the truth is far simpler and more senseless. What if it wasn't personal at all? What if it was just a robbery that spiraled out of control? A Ford Mustang parked at a busy intersection late at night is an easy magnet for trouble. To a group of opportunistic criminals, it might have looked like the jackpot. Maybe they followed him. Maybe they planned to take the car, his jewelry, or whatever they could get. But then something went wrong. Maybe Vumile resisted. Maybe the robbers panicked and what was meant to be a quick snatch and grab turned into a fatal ambush. Each of these theories paints a different picture. Was he the victim of a jealous ex-lover? A betrayed client seeking revenge? A rival overcome with resentment? Or was he simply in the wrong place at the wrong time? No one truly knows, and that's what makes this tragedy even harder to accept. And until the truth comes out, we're left with nothing but questions and the echo of that night in Diepkloof still ringing in the air. The brutal end of Vumile VMJ's life sent shockwaves through the community that looked up to him, especially the thousands of young people who believed Forex trading could change their lives. One moment, he was a symbol of success, the flashy cars, designer clothes, and inspiring speeches. And the next, he was gone. Just like that, the light went out. But as the shock began to wear off, another conversation quietly began to grow, this time from the skeptics. These were the people who had always questioned the flashy image VMJ and other online traders promoted. For them, his death wasn't just tragic, it was predictable. They warned that flaunting extreme wealth in a country where so many struggle to get by would always come with risk. The luxury cars, the expensive jewelry, the constant online bragging, it made him a target. Even though Vumile VMJ was widely known as a successful Forex trader, not everyone believed the official story. To some, he wasn't just a man with market skills, he was a mystery wrapped in designer clothes, sports cars, and stacks of cash. His lifestyle was loud, bold, and impossibly fast. Whispers began to follow him. Some believed Forex was just a cover, a polished front for something darker. Because in a country where quick riches often come with blood on the money, not every millionaire is made in daylight. And as history has shown, when you play in those murky waters, the tide always comes back. Just ask Wandel Bozwana. Bozwana was a wealthy businessman with deep pockets and political connections, but beneath the surface, he was accused of corruption, bribery, and dirty deals with government officials. In 2015, while driving through Pretoria in broad daylight, Bozwana was gunned down in a targeted hit. Over 20 bullets riddled his car. The killers didn't want to rob him. They wanted him gone permanently. He had become too strong, too powerful, and perhaps too much of a threat to the wrong people. Then there was Spoom Pisani, another millionaire who made headlines for his fleet of luxury cars and massive convoy at the Durban July. He claimed to have made his wealth through logistics, but investigations suggested otherwise. Fraud, corruption, and immigration violations soon swirled around his name. His story remains complex and mired in legal controversy, serving as another example of how rapid wealth and display in South Africa can be intertwined with allegations of illicit activities. Vumile's story isn't identical, but the patterns echo. Flashy lifestyle, rapid wealth, and empire with cracks nobody wanted to talk about. Maybe Forex was real. Maybe he truly mastered the markets. Or maybe his biggest gamble wasn't in trading. In South Africa, if your money source is dirty, you are walking on a ticking bomb time. And if VMJ had stepped on the wrong toes, his death might not have been about jealousy or even robbery. It could have been a warning, a brutal final reminder that in this country, the higher you rise on unclean money, the quicker they cut you down.